Excuse me, people, can I get you to stand back, please? Can I get you to stand back? Excuse me.
We love you, Alice.
Get you to stand back, please.
You're the man.
Well, I know why you guys are here. Same reason I'm here. Ladies and gentlemen, can we get a big round of applause for the man of the hour, Mr. Alice Cooper? Cooper, we are not worthy. So this is how it's going to work, Alice, and this is all right with you. We have a microphone set up. I believe it's going to be right over there. And if you guys have any questions for Alice whatsoever, except we said no math questions,
no math,
no science. We would like to stick to maybe some of his albums or about your bands or
anything. I'm wide open to anything. What are you going to talk about?
Well, I do have a question maybe to start things off. Seeing as we are here at Spooky Empire, you were in a horror film that I happened to see, which was one of the Freddy films.
Yep.
And you played the stepfather. Who in here has seen Alice in Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare?
The hardest thing to do when you're making a horror movie is not laugh. Because he's ready to put a razor blade in my eye in 3D, and I'm going, and he's going, this is gonna be good. But really, you find the scariest parts of the movie are the parts that you have to make sure you don't laugh at.
Right.
And then when you see it on film, you go, oh, that's scary.
Do you like being in films?
Oh yeah, film is great. It's different from stage. Stage you have to play to the back of the building, you know, and you make big moves. On film you make very small moves.
Well, you were also in Wayne's World.
And the funny thing about that was, like, Michael told me, he says, okay, we just want you to do this song, Feed My Frankenstein. That's great. I said, okay. When I got there, he goes, well, you know, you could handle a few lines here, right? You're an actor. I went, yeah, you can do that. Hands me 8 pages of dialogue. And I said, so when are we shooting this? And he goes, about a half an hour. So most of the stuff I was riffing, you know, the socialist governors and stuff like that. I had no idea what I was talking about.
I mean, you sounded like you did, so
it sounded, I was
right?
convincing. It was convincing psychobabble, yeah.
Perfect. Well, I figured before we open this up for some questions, why don't we just ask, how did you get started in the music industry?
I was 15 years old. And even at 15, I realized that there were a million Peter Pans and no Captain Hook.
It's a full experience because it's like you're there watching a movie, but yet you're listening to like incredible music. You're one of a kind.
Well, it's, you know, our generation basically learned from the Beatles. We listened to the Beatles, we listened to the Rolling Stones, we listened to that stuff. And we really always realized that the song comes first. You really have to write a great song before you try to act it out. So when young bands come to me, you know, I say, okay, I get it. You're angry, you know, because they're yelling at me in the song, you know, and it's a riff and a drum beat and everything. I said, but it's not a song yet. It has to be something that makes me care that you're angry. So I make them listen to the Beatles. Please, if you have a band with an accordion in it, you're not a rock band, okay?
We're now. He's kind of doing his thing. I did read one kind of crazy story about when you showed up to, I think it was Zappa's house at 7 in the morning, and then he said this is the reason why he wanted to sign you guys, because if you're ready to rock and roll at 7 in the morning, then you're good to go. Can you tell more about that story?
Well, the best compliment I ever got, one was from Frank Zappa, who we played the entire Pretties for You album live for him at 7 in the morning at his house. And he's sitting there with a cup of coffee in his robe and a cigarette going, I meant 7 in the evening. And they listened to the whole thing and he went, I don't get it. I said, is that good? And he goes, for Frank Zappa to say, I don't get it? Yeah. He said, I don't get it. He says, first of all, you're not from London, you're not from San Francisco, you're from Phoenix. I went, yeah, and he said, well, that doesn't make any sense. He says, and you have 5 songs here that are 2 minutes long with 35 changes in it. And I went, yeah? And he goes, I don't get it. He said, that's why I'm signing you. I don't get it. So that was a compliment to get Frank Zappa to not get working with Kane Roberts a lot. And Kane is a great splatter guy. And we decided we needed something that was going to not be about the movie. I wanted something that was going to be about him. You know, the guy behind the mask. What was behind that mask? We all saw the hockey mask, but who was behind it and what was the motivation behind it? But it's a syndicated show. And Dick Clark, when he was alive 12 years ago, he says, if you had a radio show, what would it be? And I'd say, well, it had to be taped because I tour all the time. I'm on tour everywhere. I can't just go to a studio and do a live show 5 hours a night. I said, but I'll do a taped 5-hour show if I can play whatever I want and talk about whatever I want to talk about. I want to take the computer out of it and make it much more conversational, make it more Alice talking to you directly. And if I happen to say something that connects to a song, I don't want to look and see the computer pick these songs for me to play. I said I want to be able to play whatever I want to play. So there were great bands that never got played. Love, Paul Butterfield Blues Band, Them. There were some really great bands that never got the same play that the other bands got, that were every bit as good. So I play a lot of those bands. And the guy that did it went through my lyrics on every album and found the creepiest lyrics, in obscure songs that never got played on the radio that I forgot about, and he would find that lyric and then design a room after that lyric, and he took me through it, and after about halfway through I was going, okay, but this guy was way into it and really did a good job. I mean, he really did a really good job of that. And thank you for playing me.
No problem.
You're way better looking than me, so I don't know.
Thank you.
Has anybody seen Vinyl? Yeah, I was there a couple times.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I was there. Honestly, the lines were so long, and I actually walked through the house with everybody else. And everybody thought I was probably an imposter or something. But I wanted to kind of feel what the house felt like with an audience. Because I had seen it, in its development, and I saw it in its and then at the very end of it, how it looked and what it was going to feel like. But it's different. It's like when you make a movie, you can see a screening of it, but then you go see it with an audience and see if they're getting the joke, if they're laughing at the right places, if they're scared at the right time. Same thing with the haunted house. You kind of want to get their feel of it.
I know you're a huge film fan, classic film fan. It's obvious by the Greatest Hits record and the cover, everybody that's on there and on the inside. If you could go back to even the silent era, what are some of your favorite films? Even silent, even as old as can be.
There was, this surprises people when I give them my list of horror movies that really were scary. The original Haunting, with Claire Bloom, and that was truly a scary movie, and you never saw a monster. You never once saw anything except you heard it. And it was in black and white, and it was truly scary. Suspiria. Suspiria made you want to take a shower afterwards. And, it was just so creepy. The movie was creepy. If all of you do a little homework, go back and watch Salem's Lot. Truly, 5 or 6 scenes in the original Salem's Lot are some of the best, and probably the best vampire I've ever seen. Barlow was definitely, I can't give you a picture of this. I'm watching this movie, and the guy keeps saying, "Oh, Mr. Barlow would love to meet you. Love to meet you." You're going, "Is this Mr. Barlow?" 3/4 through the scene, and through the whole movie, you just keep hearing about Mr. Barlow. There's a guy lying in a jail, and all you see is just this, and you hear the jail open, and he kind of clears his eyes and he looks up. The full screen is Barlow with the yellow eyes. And if you don't know who Barlow is, look it up, Google it. I went, oh. And my daughter was 5 years old, and she went like this and ran into a wall. And my wife went, oh. What? It was truly terrifying. The timing of it, Tobe Hooper directed it. And the timing of it was so good. After that, I just sat there like this. Wow. There was another scene where the guy is sitting wheeled in a rocking chair. And he's in the dark, and the guy says, I forget his name in the movie, but he looks up and he goes, teacher. Teacher. And he has white eyes, and I went, holy crap, this is good. And go back and watch this movie. The kid floating in the air and scraping on the window. Let me in. Oh, great stuff. And it was a made-for-TV movie. Yeah, and you'd sit there and you go, really? This is made for TV? Because it was totally terrifying. One of the great, great movies of all time. And the music in it was set in up perfectly. The music was amazing, and it still holds up. I'll watch it today and still go, this really works. This movie really works. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
3, 2, 1.
Be sure to give this a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more content, and thanks for watching.